Internally, we're calling COP27 the Get Done COP. And the reason for that is that there's really a focus and a necessary focus on implementation. So, we know what needs to be done. The real question is, how do you actually implement to make those things happen? We're particularly focused on the use of distributed renewable energy in the health sector and agriculture and other areas, because that's going to be really important for resilience as well as keeping emissions down. But another thing, there's just not going to be enough money around from donors, from private foundations and the like to actually get done. So a key thing is going to be climate finance.
So at Abt Associates, we think that COP27 will be a watershed moment for climate finance due to the impact of increased interest rates and inflation rates, right? This will totally change the macroeconomic environment in which climate finance currently operates. And we need to collectively figure out how the public and the private sector can innovate and adjust to this new environment.
So public-private partnership is really critical as we solve the climate crisis. Public sector funding can only go so far, and bringing the private sector into the solution is really critical. And there need to be incentives for the private sector to do that. Energy is an enormous cost for any business, whether that business is in manufacturing or it's in healthcare. And if we can get the public policy environment right and make clean energy affordable, the private sector will spend the money to invest in clean energy and bring their energy costs down while contributing the solution to the climate crisis.
Africa only contributes about 3.8% of global greenhouse gas emissions, but it is one of the most vulnerable global regions to climate change. And we're seeing huge impacts, including to water supply and availability, as well as food security across the subcontinent. And one of the things that's most important about COP27 and a hopeful increased focus on climate finance is that we're seeing very limited finance, only about $30 billion going into Africa in recent years on an annual basis. That amount is going to need to significantly increase. And so I'm hopeful that COP27 will provide an increased focus on the African subcontinent and helping developed countries realize their commitments to climate change and actually mobilize finance.
We hear a lot about climate justice, but what does that actually mean? It means that rich countries need to come to this COP with higher, more ambitious, newer NDC targets. The pledges that they've put on the table to take climate action, they need to be stronger. It also means that developed countries need to do what they said they would do back in 2009, which was to deliver 100 billion by 2020, 3 years ago almost. The other thing is that they need to get down to action today.
Another major topic that we'll see focused on at COP27 is sustainable transportation. So this is not only an opportunity to reduce greenhouse gases due to less consumption of fossil fuels through the transition to electric vehicles, but this is going to have a huge impact on air quality. And then when we think about air quality, it's not a leap to start thinking about the health benefits associated with healthier air to breathe. So this is an area that our economists and our engineers and scientists, our public health experts, our data scientists, all of us are working on this very important topic of association of air quality and very specific health benefits.
So at COP27, we're looking forward to seeing the new pledges on nationally determined contributions and seeing the new national adaptation plans, how Abt can support those. We're particularly interested in seeing what's being done to implement the global methane pledge. And I'm very interested to see the initiative that's being launched on solid waste and how can we support that effort to reduce the solid waste crisis in a way that helps reduce the climate crisis.
I'm very excited actually to go as a US citizen to COP and be able to say that we've taken this enormous position to actually reduce our own emissions and reduce our contribution to the problem.